The brain trust at Formula One came up with an idea, and it's called the F1 Academy, a female-only series that runs alongside the F1 calendar, not to be confused with the W Series, which was also a female-only series that also ran alongside the F1 calendar. That went bankrupt before the end of the final season and disappeared off the face of the earth. And sometimes the ladies were a bit distracted.
Sarah Moore loses it first of all. No grip at this stage. And I warn you, this is nasty.
I originally thought that crash was because of some extraordinary circumstances, like oil on the track. No, they really did just fuck it that hard.
Women in the workplace. Women in the workplace. Women in the workplace. Women in the workplace.
And I'm sure there's no misogynistic comments on the YouTube video. Let's take a look, shall we? What a perfect example of how well women perform under pressure. Burn. When women drive and people want to put them in F1 while they can't handle these cars, the fuck you think's going to happen in a 1,000 horsepower, no ABS, no traction control Formula 1 car with the rest of the men who can actually handle the G-force? Burn! Women shouldn't race. Women, coffee cup emoji. Women, coffee cup emoji. Women, am I right? Women, 3 coffee cup emojis. More proof women are not good enough to drive these cars. Women, ha ha ha. They say women who spend a lot of time together become synchronized. These had synchronized oversteer into the... I don't know what that means, synchronized. You mean like synchronized swimming? Okay.
The idea that women's menstrual cycles can synchronize.
These are real comments under the video, by the way. And this is what I was talking about in my presentation. The sort of misogynistic comments women have to deal with. It's disgusting. Disgusting! But unlike the W Series, which actually provided a lot of ammunition to the misogynists and then disappeared off the face of the planet, the F1 Academy broads are not going to take the same shit. They uploaded a video to their YouTube channel called The Narrative is Shifting, where they address the misogynistic comments. Let's take a watch, shall we? Click.
You thought that we didn't belong in this world.
I didn't say that.
You dismissed us.
I didn't do that.
Said we didn't deserve this.
I didn't say that.
Well, we did not listen.
Okay, you didn't, but I didn't say that.
Forged ahead.
They're getting really close to the camera.
Better future.
They're really close to the camera, and it's putting me off.
And courage. And we never gave in. Come here.
No,
Look
don't.
Again.
Okay, it's getting
now,
weird. I don't know what that was supposed to be. But they seem very determined. So the F1 Academy arrived in China for the first race of the 2025 season, ready to shift the narrative. A 13-lap race around the Shanghai International Circuit. And I hope all of these chauvinistic pigs are watching, because you're all about to be proven wrong. Ladies, take it away.
But on a reverse grid, that's Shi Wei, the Chinese girl, who unfortunately has had a bit of an off.
Oh, she's beached.
Oh, and that's tricky because you just can't get going.
So one of them spun on the first lap and got beached on top of a curb. Big deal. And the name of this driver is Shi Wei.
Shi Wei, the Chinese girl.
More like she is pointing the wrong way. Ugh. Fucking laugh.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Starting week number 4 of having some weird COVID type sickness where I can't breathe, I'm coughing, it's a mess. I'm trying my best to get this going. Welcome to the official Gran Turismo World Series Manufacturers Cup. This is round 2 at Interlagos, guys. If you can see in the background, your boy after we had one of those long 17-18 minute qualifying sessions where you can put in a bunch of laps. We're on racing mediums at Interlagos, a 12-lap sprint. 167 points for the win, and on my final lap, I wish I had the recording, but on my final lap of on that long qualifying, I put in the pole position, dude. I believe it was I believe it was by 30 thousandths of a second, something like that. It was not by much. It was not it was tight. And that was my final lap. I started my final lap on fresh tires out of the pit. My out lap finished with about 15 seconds left on the clock. Went over the line and put in an absolute banger and
Tie a hoodie
claimed the
or
pole
sweater
position
around your
from
waist
I was
to
around
conceal the
P6.
erection.
I believe I was
Crossing
P5
your
or
legs or
P6
flexing your
at
thighs
the
can
time,
help
and
draw
then put in
blood
that
away
final
from
lap.
the erection.
So there's going to be no pit stop. This is just a straight up sprint in round 2, 12 laps at Interlagos. Last time in the exhibition, they did 12 laps on hards. This time they changed it to mediums, which gives me a little bit more grip, but you have to be a little bit more active on the throttle pedal in like the sweeping sections. Let's get into it.
Ryan, the things are something different. People going lunatic. Moving up and down again. That's all the cars in the world. 7, 6, 11, 5, 4, 17, 32 the day before.
All right, man. You guys know me. You already know this pole position got me nervous. I am yet to win a GT1 League race. You guys saw it at Autopolis. I had my win on deck, and somebody absolutely creamed me and destroyed my race in the pit phase and lost my first win in GT1 League. Now on pole position, the nerves got me, dude, and it's just I gotta make no mistakes. I mean, it really is. These guys are fast. I race with these dudes all the time. I know RGL. I know Danny. I see these dudes all the time, man. We're constantly battling with each other. So, and another thing too, man, does that new World Series intro get your guys' pants tight? I really enjoyed it a lot. I have a bunch of different variations of the ways I can do it. If you're new to the channel, guys, I explode radars. I explode throttle and brake inputs. We do a race review / bloopers at the end of the race, and I do those mini movie intros and outros. Some videos, sometimes I don't. I need you guys to hit buttons. I believe everyone that works on stuff like this and makes content believes their channels are criminally undersubbed and underviewed, and I really feel that way. I don't know what to do. I don't know, should I change my name to something different so people know it's sim racing? I just don't know what to do, man. If anyone has any suggestions to get a little bit more support on the channel, please feel free to tell me. I'm an amateur. I'm just trying to have fun here and build a little community, have a good time. Anyway, I'm nervous. So I'm nervous yapping right now. All right, let's get into it. Let's just get to the race. You'll see the conclusion of the women. Rocket Powered Mohawk is one of my favorite racing content channels, like review channels from racing. Go check him out. I'll put a card in the video so you guys can see him. He's one of the funniest guys. I love watching his stuff. If you're an RPM watcher, support me, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. All right, let's get into it. I'm nervous. I'm going to have a poo. Let's go.
I almost had a nervous movement. Up.
You guys already know pole position is giving me a nervous BM moment in my tummy, in my tum-tum. These guys are coming. All right, this is just, there's not too much in this race, but I'm just, dude, we came through here. We're pretty much split out 2 by 2, coming through the first long straight here, going into the first turn, and I'm like, please don't do anything bad. And holy dive bomb from another country. But then he flashed his hazards, and I'm like, okay, are you gonna let me through? And he let me through in a very strange way, but he did let me back through again. So that he just didn't want to rear end us. He should have went off the circuit completely to avoid us instead of dive bombing me down the inside. But it is what it is. Now at this point, I'm thinking, okay, just get away. The first little moment, dude made a mistake. I don't know what that was. I don't know what that was, but it was bad, and he let me back through. Whatever. Run as fast as you can. Just a couple tenths coming through here. I didn't feel like I needed to defend, but at this point, man, my mind is going crazy. I'm overthinking everything. I'm like, just don't make a mistake. Don't make a mistake. I didn't defend coming through here, and again, Danny came through with some contact to the guy, took the position, and he held everything. We'll look at all this stuff at the end, guys. Bloopers, race review at the end. At this point, I'm thinking, run. As soon as I saw that time dropping when I came out of the final turn, I ran as fast as I could, and I just said, put in the most solid laps I could ever put through. A 1.5 seconds at the end of lap 1 because of the RG Bargy business behind me. And at this point, I just tried to put in the fastest lap I possibly could. I just wanted to remove all doubt that these guys, had any chance to catch me whatsoever at all. And they're fighting behind me. We'll take a look at the fighting at the end. But, I was just focusing on my time. I was just looking at them splits, looking at my delta, just seeing exactly how fast I'm able to pace this. I was able to take the fastest lap, I believe, the first 2, 3, 4 laps. And I just kept running. I just wanted to run as fast as I could. I knew that was the best chance I had. You could see they're still together behind me. You jump through to the end of lap 2 here. And I got about 2.5 to 3 seconds here at the end of lap 2. They don't catch me here. I just keep putting in solid laps. We're gonna hit the fast forward button here, and we'll just keep an eye on that time as we go through the laps. And I just continue to I put in a master class. There's no getting around it. I drove from the front. It was a dominating race. I rarely dominate like this, but this was them fighting behind me gave me the little bit of confidence that I needed to just really put in solid laps. I don't think, other than my first lap, I put in 133s the entire race, except for the final 2 laps when I started to calm down a little bit here. But they were gonna catch me about halfway through the race. I was a little bit worried. The biggest lead I got to was around 6 seconds here at the end of lap 7. I had about 5.5 to 6 seconds on them, and we're gonna begin an onboard lap. This was my fastest lap of the race, was lap 8, I believe. Yeah, it was lap 8. And I just keeping an eye on the trail braking. I want my braking to get more consistent and be a little bit more stable instead of jumping around so much. But my inputs are exploded now, just to keep an eye on my progress that I've made. If you go back, a month or 2 ago to check my trail braking, it was almost non-existent. It was very rare that I was doing solid, barely even doing any trail braking at all, much less it be consistent and stable, and just slowly lessening it. This was not a great example of how well I trail brake now. It's just a different kind of circuit. I really didn't need to worry about it too much. I just needed to put in as fast a lap as I could. And if you notice, some of the times I'm not applying 100% a brake input. You'll see the next couple of turns here, I go about 80-90%, and then just immediately comes back down to around 20 to 40%. But it needs to be more stable, and I know that's my settings. But as you see here, I hold around 50, drop it, and it slowly goes down to the bottom there. And it's just, I got to get better at that. That's the next step for me to take, is getting more consistent and more stable on the brake input. So here again, we'll apply them, and I'll see how quickly I drop it. I need to be more slowly on that, but because I'm applying them late, I got to drop it faster. And I just got to get better at it. I got to get better at the seesaw between the braking and gas. That's when you really get fast. That's how you get fast, guys. I don't know how to tell. Maybe I'll make a video on it and try to explain it a little bit better. But yeah, that was my fastest lap of the race, and I didn't want to look behind me. I didn't want to even think about them dudes even being in the race whatsoever at all. I just put my head down and just said, I know my braking points, I know this circuit, I know what I'm doing, I know this car. Don't even think about it. So yeah, we're a little over 6 seconds, 6.2 seconds here. I just didn't look back. That's pretty much it. After that last time, that other GT1 League win that I had on top list that I had on deck, man, that was very disappointing. That had me salty for about a week. But it is what it is, man. It's just racing. We come through here, final lap. The lead gets down to around 5 seconds here. They were asking me after the race, oh, did you make a big mistake? I didn't. I just I slowed it down a little bit. I just kicked my pace down. If you see on the right-hand side here, every single one of my laps was in the 133s, except for 9 was a 134.1. But that's what you have to do to win, especially in GT1 League, man. If you want to win, you got to be consistent. These guys are going to be about a second and a half faster than me in the fastest people in the world. But I'm not the fastest guy in the world. I'm a little bit slower than the fastest guys in the world. Unless Danny was going to totally wreck me off in the end if we continued to fight, or if he didn't give me back that position. Either way, guys, they must have forgot who I was. But now they remember.
They must have amnesia. They forgot that I'm him.
So there it is, guys. That's my first GT1 League win. It is actually only my 18th win ever in GT7. My rank carried over from GT Sport, where I was a high-level B driver on a G29. I don't really talk about it too much, but right after GT7 came out, I got a very significant, horrific injury on my left arm that left me with permanent damage in my left wrist. That I struggle with dexterity in my left wrist and fingers quite a bit, with a lot of pain. It took me a couple years to get back to normal, but I try not to use it as an excuse. But it does take me some time to get back used to it again and racing like normal again. And I've had to relearn a lot of things with my left arm, and it just it's never going to be the same, and it is what it is. I really focus on top fives. I'm not super aggressive for wins. I care about top fives. So I have about 250 races online on GT7 Sport mode, and I have, I believe it's around right around 100 top fives out of the 250 races. I've come in the top five about around 100 times. And that's really what I focus on. A ton of podiums. They don't count the podiums, but I mean a ton of podiums. I just 18 wins only though, dude. I got thrown into high level B/A, low level A drivers right away on GT7 with my old G29. I barely even played whenever GT7 first came out. Then I got injured, so like I didn't really play a lot. And then I only do a couple races a week, so that's all the time I really have for. So I don't practice that much. This race, I'm going to tell you the secret, guys. I practiced for Interlagos. That's why I did what I did. But anyway, let's get into the race review. Check out some of the bloopers and see why these guys were fighting so hard and why I was able to run away so easily. So we started out back at the beginning. This was not a bad move. Good awareness by the GTR not to turn in on the Lexus, but then he just gets on the power, which he should have been okay, but for whatever reason, that thing just kept on turning right. I don't know. It was what it was. So he took a ride to the back. So this was P2. I defended into turn 1 just because I didn't want any funny business, man. I went a little bit deep there. I didn't want to go that deep, but it was great because I was able to park right here and not let him get around me. He was a little bit indecisive, and the way that I parked my car was it was perfect car placement. I went a little bit deep. It wasn't what I wanted, but the result was exactly what I needed. Then we're going to look at all the angles going into turn 3 here. This was the huge moment here. When I look back at this, the GTR missed it. Look, the GTR misses his braking point, and instead of rear-ending the Porsche, he dove down the inside. Looking back at this, this was not a horrible move. Honestly, looking back at that, obviously I complied. I went to turn in, he made contact with me, and I turned back out. If I didn't comply, obviously we both would have wrecked. So that's why I believe giving the position back to me is very fair. Guys, tell me in the comments, do you think you should have gave me back the position? That was a crazy dive bomb, yes, but he made the apex. He made the turn. The contact with me slowed him down. Anyway, I'll leave it there. You guys tell me what you think. I don't think it was the worst thing in the world. The other GTR's view, I mean, obviously it's not a good move. It's not a sportsman-like move to make on me like that. You're coming from another zip code. It's just, my awareness is what allowed us both to continue through that. And him giving me back the position, he just wanted to lose the least amount of time possible. The NSXs who punted the Porsche into the GTR. That's why I showed that angle. And then these guys were just chasing me through, man. That was just some argy-bargy business right from the beginning. One GTR dove on the one, the other GTR dove on the other one. Then you got the NSX bumping the GTR into the Porsche. It just, all of it was a recipe for me to run as fast as I could, dude. As soon as I got to this turn right here, and that GTR smashed through on the Porsche, he didn't give the position back that time, because he got punted up the hill from the gray GTR. So he kept the position. Like, look, again, he's making the apex and everything, guys, but the car in front of him is already there. I mean, you can't. When is the Porsche supposed to turn in? If you're gonna say that GTR, that was a decent move, he made the apex, it was a dive bomb, yeah, but like, dude, when should the Porsche turn in? Now, the Porsche, he had a rough go, man. I don't know how you feel about all those moves. They're almost 3 wide going into turn 1 here, and the Porsche, I mean, he's up the inside, but again, when's the Ferrari supposed to turn in? It's just overall, I think everyone's moves were just a little bit mistimed, and that's really what it comes down to. A little punt from the Super here, nothing too crazy, and he just got a little wide there, and he just backed off, which was the right thing to do. I still give sportsmanship of the race to the GTR at the beginning for giving me back the position. Obviously, if I didn't comply, we both would have wrecked. So it was the right thing to do. It is what it is. He was a little bit aggressive, though, man. Danny boy, he was aggressive, boy. Anyway, the Ferrari gets a little wee moment here. A little fun time. It is significantly harder to do that now, but I'll still do it, boy. I'll still do it. I can't remember what this one was. This guy kept putting in the fastest lap of the race. Oh yeah, they almost went 3 wide here. This was just good racing. Then the GTR turned in on him. You know, Danny turned in on him again. You know, and the Lexus is there. That's not one of those moves. The Lexus almost didn't leave him enough room, and the GTR, Danny came fighting right back through. I just consider that very hard racing. You know, I didn't really see that as dirty. It just little turn in here, little turn in there. The Porsche, his oversteer knocked him back into the other car. If that was me, I would have probably held up and went, oops, sorry about that. You know, this is his view, the McLaren's view from it, and I don't know. If I was the McLaren, I'd be a little bit upset. Then, you know, there's no giving back the position whenever you spin yourself out afterwards. But, you know, it's tough. Great awareness from the Subaru right there, dude. He went to turn, and I included that just because there was some good awareness here and some bad awareness. But that Supra, man, great switchback coming down the hill. He's on a controller. That's why he's sliding all over. That's why he's twitching back and forth like that, or it's the internet. But either way, man, that was just glorious. I don't know. My first win, guys. I hope you liked it. Look at them guys all the way back there. All right, I'll hit you with some women. Check out Rocket Powered Mohawk. I love this dude so much, man. All right, man, I'll see you guys on the next one. Congratulations to me.
The race restarted, but now we're already on lap 5, which is fine because there's still plenty of time left to showcase some female talent and prove the misogynists wrong. 3 corners. They made it 3 corners before one of them locked up and T-boned another car.
Oh, no. Yeah. That was a shame. So there was contact there.
Okay, so another clam bites the dust. The safety car came back out for a few laps, and when the race restarted for the second time, they had already passed half race distance without having completed a single lap under green flag conditions. For Christ. Ladies, we're not expecting fucking miracles out there, but you gotta give us summer. Can you just keep it together for 5 minutes? 1 corner. They made it, well, they didn't even make it to the first corner before one of them just drove straight into the back of another car.
Gonna have a look down the inside, maybe there might be contact made. No. So
the woman responsible for this crime is Chloe Chong. Mrs. Chong clam slammed the driver in front of her, leaving her stranded on the outside of turn 1. Damn it, Chong! Now the safety car comes back out, and by the time the race restarted for the 3rd time, there was only 3 laps left in the race. We're running out of time, ladies, and so far you haven't done a lot to shift the narrative. So, let's just take this one step at a time. Lap 11 of 13. They all make it through the first sequence of corners unscathed. Well done. Now they're heading towards the first hairpin. Nobody locks up and gets T-boned. Excellent work. Mrs. Chong has a sniff at turn 7, but this time does not drive directly into the back of her opponent. Progress. Now they're making their way down the back straight. A bit of jostling for position. Is one of them going to go for a move? She's going for a move. Don't do anything stupid. Just a lock-up. It's just a lock-up, dickhead. Nothing serious. Round the final corner, down the main straight, and there we go. 1 whole lap with no incidents. Take that, you misogynistic pigs. Now they've calmed down a bit, I'm sure they can manage the final 2 laps of the race with no more incident.
Absolutely. Oh, a little bit of a lock-up and a bit of contact as well. Alba Larson just making a touch.
I'm sure they can manage the final lap of the race with no more incident.
Oh, an incident as well. Elba Meyer, and Hausman involved.
Okay, so of the 13-lap race, they only completed 1 single lap under green flag conditions. That's not great. But that was the first race of the season. What are you expecting? They're all a bit rusty. The second race of the season is the next day on Sunday morning. So as the ladies lined up on the grid for race 2, you can imagine they were even more determined to shift the narrative. And I'm sure they will redeem themselves in the second race.
Oh, they've made contact. What a shame. Oh no, we've got more spins as well. Oh dear, this is all getting a little bit tricky. Nicole Havreda as well, and there's damage.
At this rate, the only way women are going to be respected in motorsport is if Lewis Hamilton comes out as trans. And hey, I'm going to be honest, I'd hit that. I would hit that multiple times. Kinda suits him. Kinda suits her, excuse me. I actually have multiple pictures of trans Lewis because I made the mistake of asking the group chat to generate images of Trans Hamilton, and anytime I ask you lot to do anything, you always take it a bit too far, don't you? Some of them were pretty good and very realistic. Some of them were kind of whatever, mid. Some of them were genuinely horrifying. I mean, if you saw this picture while you were tripping on mushrooms, it'd give you a panic attack. This is just a picture of Michelle Obama. Some of you are not taking this seriously at all. I mean, what the fuck is this? And then the same person keeps spamming it multiple times. Who is this person, please? I swear to Christ, this person. Nicholas Laquife. You are this close to a ban. It really is beautiful and terrifying what you people can achieve when you really put your minds to it. Because I remember when you were editing my face onto AI-generated pictures. Let's pull those up, shall we? We've got rocket-powered Stalin, rocket-powered Castro, rocket-powered Chairman Mao, rocket-powered Lil Kimmy, Thatcher, Dharma, Hamilton, Rosa Parks, good lord. Rocket-powered Verstappen, Rocket Gorlock the Destroyer. What's this? Mohammed Ben Syndrome. That's not funny. Okay, we're all going to hell. It gets worse. Of course it gets worse. Rocket-powered Anne Frank. There we go. There's a good one. And just for the sake of being bipartisan, because of course they also did rocket-powered Hitler. So there we go, everybody. We've got both sides of history. You know, when I first saw this picture, I thought, this is wild to have my own community edit my face onto Adolf Hitler. But at least they didn't put it on a t-shirt and then print it out so it becomes like a real tangible thing that exists in reality. Of course they put on a t-shirt!
Run! It's Godzilla!
It looks like Godzilla, but due to international copyright laws, it's not.
Still, we should run like it is Godzilla!